You're gonna succeed that way. Don't you ignore me!
What's up everyone, welcome back. If you're a One Piece fan, today's video might actually hurt a little, because we're talking about characters that Oda built up, gave them incredible abilities, incredible backstories, incredible hype, and then just left them on the shelf. These aren't weak characters. That's what makes it so painful. These are characters who should have been legends, and somewhere along the way, the story moved on without them. Tashigi. Okay, Tashigi. Now hear me out before you scroll to the comments, because this one genuinely breaks my heart. Here is a woman who dedicated her entire life to becoming a great swordswoman. She wants to collect all the cursed blades in the world. She has a connection to Kuina, which gives her whole existence this deep poetic meaning in Zoro's story. And what does she spend most of the series doing? Getting saved. That's it. That's basically it. She had every ingredient to become one of the most compelling marine characters Oda ever wrote. Instead, after the time skip, she just fades. You almost forget she exists between arcs. Tashigi deserved so much more, and deep down, I think even Oda knows it.
Sorry, but you're finished.
Is Enel, and this one should make every single One Piece fan genuinely upset. Think about what Enel actually is. A man who can transform into lightning, who has observation haki so advanced he can hear everything on an entire island, who destroyed a whole civilization without breaking a sweat. He is terrifying on paper, and then Luffy punches him. Because rubber. The end. Look, I get it. Luffy's rubber body being his natural weakness was a brilliant writing choice, but Enel was so powerful, so menacing, so perfectly set up to be one of the greatest villains in the series. And he went to the moon, to fight robots. Every few years, fans start a Enel returns theory, and honestly, we need it, because this man is sitting on the moon with untapped haki potential, and the story just moved on. Enel at his ceiling, easily a top-tier threat in any arc. We just never got to see it. Basil Hawkins, the Magician, 320 million berry bounty, worst generation pirate, strawman ability that can redirect damage to other people. That is one of the most broken powers in the entire series from a survival standpoint. And in Wano, he served under Kaido, spent most of the arc being irrelevant, lost to Zoro without putting up a real fight, and then just accepted death. He pulled a tarot card that said 0% chance of survival, and he went, okay cool, I'll die then. Boro, you are a worst generation pirate. The whole point of the worst generation is that these people refuse to die. Hawkins could have been this mysterious, calculating strategist who shook the entire arc. Instead, he became a background character with good fashion sense. A genuine crime. Smoothie. Charlotte Smoothie. Okay, Charlotte Smoothie. Sweet Commander. One of the highest bounties among all female characters in the entire series. Her devil fruit lets her literally wring the liquid out of living creatures. She can squeeze a person like a wet towel and drink their life force. That is horrifying. That is amazing. That should be terrifying on screen. In the whole Cake Island arc, one of the most chaotic, action-packed arcs in the entire series, Smoothie did almost nothing. She didn't have a real fight. She didn't have a real moment. She was there. She was tall, she looked scary, and then the Straw Hats escaped. A sweet commander, in her own arc, did nothing. Oda, I love you bro, but what happened here? Carrot. If you were watching One Piece during Whole Cake Island, you know what I'm talking about. When Carrot unlocked her Sulong form under the full moon, I'm not even exaggerating, the entire fandom lost their minds. She was beautiful, she was powerful, she took down an entire fleet almost single-handedly. Fans were convinced she was joining the crew. Fan art exploded, theories flew everywhere, and then in Wano, she was barely there. And at the end, she becomes the leader of her homeland, off-screen, randomly, no emotional send-off, no big final moment. Carrot's Sulong form is one of the most visually stunning power-ups in the entire series, and Oda gave it one arc to breathe. That still hurts. Alright, I need you all to feel this one with me. Kuina, she only appears in flashbacks. She dies before the story even truly begins, and yet she is one of the most important characters in all of One Piece. She was better than Zoro as a child, more talented, more dedicated, born into the legendary Shimotsuki clan, the very bloodline that carries some of the greatest swordsmanship in the world. She had a dream just as big as Zoro's, to be the greatest swordsman, and she fell down a staircase. I'm not going to go deep into theories today, but I'll say this, Kuina wasn't just wasted potential, she was a tragedy, a character who represented everything Zoro fights for, every day, and never got to fight for herself. She deserved an entire arc, she deserved a legacy, she deserved more.
Even as her father, I can tell you this without prejudice.
Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin, one of the 4 emperors of the sea. This woman pulled a mountain of fire out of Kaido, the Kaido, and held her own. She has one of the most creative devil fruits ever written. She commands an entire army of soul-infused objects. She has a literal treasure trove of haki that took decades to build. She is monster tier, genuinely one of the most powerful beings in the One Piece world. And in Wano, which was supposed to be her co-arc, she got used as a plot device to make Kid and Law look strong. She forgot to use her powers. She forgot. Oda literally wrote her forgetting her own abilities so the plot could move forward. Big Mom didn't have wasted potential because she was weak. She had wasted potential because the story needed her out of the way. And that might be the most painful kind of wasted potential there is. Okay, now we need to talk about the biggest what if in all of One Piece. Buggy the Clown. Buggy sailed with Gul D. Roger, the king of the pirates. He was there. He witnessed things that changed the world. He had access to the same training, the same seas, the same experiences as Shanks, who is now one of the most feared men alive. His devil fruit, the Bara Bara no Mi, lets him split his body into pieces and control every single part independently. With armament haki, that's an insane ability. You literally cannot hit him normally. You cannot cut him. He could attack from everywhere at once. With real training, Buggy could have been a monster. Instead, he trips over himself. He gets carried by his crew. He accidentally becomes a warlord. He accidentally becomes a Yonko. The joke is funny. I genuinely laugh every time. But somewhere under all that comedy is a man who sailed with the king of the pirates and became that. And that's either the greatest waste or the greatest character study in the series. Maybe both.
She managed to get her hands on that chart, huh?
Marco the Phoenix, first commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. Arguably one of the most overpowered support abilities in the entire series. A mythical zone fruit that gives him infinite regeneration. Marco fought 3 admirals in Marineford and walked away. 3 admirals. He is the definition of elite. He has the wisdom, the experience, the loyalty, and the raw power to be one of the greatest fighters in the world. After Whitebeard died, Marco took care of Whitebeard's home village. He became a doctor's assistant. He helped in Wano. He did his part. But his ceiling, we have never seen his ceiling. Marco at full power with full will, fighting for something he truly believes in. I genuinely think he's a top 5 fighter when he's motivated. We've seen glimpses, only glimpses. And that's the tragedy of Marco. He keeps giving everything for everyone else, and nobody's ever really fought for him. Number 1, Portgas D Ace. And if you've watched One Piece long enough, you already know Portgas D Ace, the son of Gul D. Roger, the older brother of Monkey D. Luffy, the man who carried the name of Pirate's greatest legacy in his very blood. He had the Mera Mera no Mi, the Flame fruit, one of the most powerful Logia abilities ever shown. He was the 2nd commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. He crossed the entire Grand Line. He was hunting Blackbeard. Ace was supposed to be a legend, and then Marineford happened. He stood in front of Akainu's magma fist to protect Luffy, and that was it. That was all we ever got. Alright, those are my top 10 One Piece characters who never reached their full potential. And look, this is One Piece. The story isn't over. Some of these characters might still get their moment, and honestly, I hope they do. Drop in the comments, who did I miss? Who do you think got robbed the most? If this video hit you in the feels, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong, keep sailing.